I'm Terri Savelle. Thank you for watching today. I want to talk to you about how to take the hand you're dealt and win. If you know anything about me, I love John Maxwell. I love to read every John Maxwell book. And he has so many laws in all of his books. He has the law of the rubber band. He has the law of the bad apple. He has the law of the big mow. He has all these crazy laws. So after reading all of his books, I thought, I'm going to make up some of my own laws. So I came up with this law that I call the law of the deck of cards. Now, this law I just made up comes from a phrase that I heard from T.D. Jakes years ago, and this is what it is. He said somebody else could take the same hand that you've been dealt and win. Someone else could take the same hand you've been dealt and win. In other words, somebody else could take the very same circumstances that you're dealing with right now, the challenges that are seeming to overwhelm you. They could take everything you're faced with today and they could succeed with it. So how do you take the hand you've been dealt and win with it? Well, I love to read from successful people, and I recently read this story about the amazing Montel Williams. You may know Montel Williams from his long-running show, The Montel Williams Show, but you may not know some of the things that he's been through, and I think he is like this poster child for taking the hand you've been dealt and winning with it. In fact, he said that, as a little boy, he grew up in the ghetto, basically, and he said he was a product of busing from the ghetto to an all-white neighborhood to go to this school. Well, he said one of the teachers there was very racist and actually said to him, she said, "This is why you people will never get anywhere." Well, he said, I took the sting of that remark and I made a promise to myself that I will be the only person who defines me. He said, you alone have to own the definition of who you are. Well, then he went on to say that his father would have him read at the dinner table, and he said it really paid off. He said, I had a super vocabulary, and I could read and write by the time I was in the first grade. Well, then he said this, you must gain knowledge. He said, you need knowledge. Knowledge is king. Get it so you can help yourself. He said, learn everything you need to know, including whatever is stopping you from reaching your goals. Well, he just began to invest in himself and gain as much knowledge as he could. Well, then he said this, he enlisted in the Marine Corps right out of high school. He distinguished himself and immediately got promoted to the platoon guide in basic training. He was impressing his superiors. He was recommended for this career track with the U.S. Naval Forces. Well, then he's doing great. He entered the academy. He even studied Mandarin Chinese, engineering, international security affairs. He's a smart man. Well, this was incredible. He said he became the first black man enlisted in the Marines to complete and graduate from both the Naval Academy Prep School and the U.S. Naval Academy. Well, he had this vision to just keep going and to be this amazing, Marine or guy in the Navy, And he said all of a sudden, this freak medical accident during his last year ruined his plans to return to the Marines after graduation. He was one out of the 100 seniors who received the wrong dose of an immunization, which landed him in the hospital and cost him the entire vision of his left eye. Just a freak accident. Well, instead of going on, with the Marine Corps and doing what he really wanted to do, he again took the hand he'd been dealt and decided to win with it. He actually started counseling the servicemen in his command, including their wives and their children. He said he discovered, wow, I have a gift for public speaking. Never even knew this in counseling. This new role paved the way for him to enter the motivational speaking field, which if you know anything about Montel Williams, he not only had his TV show for, I think it was 20 years, but he actually won a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Talk Show Host, received 3 more nominations. He's doing amazing. Well, then all of a sudden, he was dealt another hand. You may not realize this, but Montel Williams, he actually said he is in pain 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. His pain comes from multiple sclerosis, which he was diagnosed with, this degenerative disease, in 1999 at the peak of his career. He said, years ago, the doctor told me I would be in a wheelchair, and I am in pain 24 hours a day, but I am determined to walk around this planet with positive thoughts. He said, and I have no doubt that attitude helps me deal with my MS. I accept responsibility for my own overall health and wellness. Well, He stopped doing the show, but now he does radio, and he's an infomercial spokesman for several products. In other words, he's still taking the hand he's been dealt, and he's succeeding with it. Well, just listening to stories like that, it just makes you get your problems off your mind and go, okay, stop magnifying everything that's wrong in my life. Stop magnifying all these negative things that I have to deal with that maybe others aren't dealing with. And let's turn it around and see what we can do to make the best of it, right? Well, according to Montel Williams, he said, number one, gain knowledge. He said, knowledge is king. Get it so you can help yourself. He said, learn everything you can to help whatever's stopping you from reaching your goals. Well, do you know even the Bible says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge? What you don't know is hurting you. It's debilitating you. I love what Jim Rohn said. He said his mentor said to him, Jim, don't wish it was easy or wish you were better. He said, don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Well, Jim began, gaining knowledge, investing in himself, and became very successful. Same with Montel Williams. So the more you learn, the more you earn, right? Well, as you begin just even listening to podcasts like this, you get more knowledge, you get more wisdom, you start gaining understanding about the battles you're faced with and how to overcome them. So knowledge is king. Number two, he said, have positive thoughts. He even said this, evaluate yourself constantly, but don't stop believing in yourself. He said, every day, ask yourself, what did I do today that's worth talking about tomorrow? He said, I write down 3 good things that happened that day. And he said, when I wake up the next morning, I read those 3 things again because it starts my day in a positive light. Well, you can't live a positive life with negative thoughts. And the truth is, what you believe about yourself on the inside is what you're going to manifest on the outside. So you have to intentionally, it's not, just by accident. You have to intentionally feed your mind with positive input. And that's why, when you watch a podcast like this or other motivational faith-building teachers, they say subscribe to these podcasts. Why? So you get into a continual habit of getting positive input. And then finally, number 3, Montel says you have to surround yourself with the right people. It's vital to where you want to go in life. In fact, he said, don't be around people who tell you why you can't do something. When someone points out your limitations, you must counter that with the attitude that says, how dare they try to define who I am? Well, John Maxwell says there's 2 types of people. There's the anchors and the motors. The anchors, they're going to drag you down. He said, stay away from them. But the motors, they're going somewhere. So hook on with them and get with people who are ready to go to the next level. So I just wanted to challenge you today with that. Don't grow weary in well-doing, for in due season you will reap if you faint not. But you have to look at this hand, whatever you've been dealt with, and you have to say, you know what? This is no surprise to God. He knew that I could handle this. He knew that I could rise above this challenge, this obstacle, this problem, and I can still be successful. And I love what I heard somebody say. They said, you can either throw in the towel or you can use it to wipe the sweat off your face. I say wipe the sweat off and just keep going. So if you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe to this and be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, so I can keep you motivated to achieve your dreams. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. I think it's one thing to have a plan, to have a dream for your life, but when you discover God's plan, that's the icing on the cake.
This is more than a women's conference. It is a 2-day event that can propel you into your destiny. Start planning now to join Terri, Savelle, Foy, and thousands of inspiring women from around the world at Icing 2017. Don't miss out on this life-changing weekend filled with empowering, purpose-driven worship, teaching, and fellowship. Besides, who doesn't love free cupcakes? We'll see you at Icing 2017, October 13th and 14th at the Will Rogers Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas. For more information and to register, visit us at terri.com. Don't hesitate. Register today.